Alright, I'm back again, and I just have two topics I'd like to discuss. Links will be down below. Both of the links come from RT. I know there's some people who are like, hey, it's Russian propaganda. But I've actually been bitten in the keister a few times too many by local, even local news, much less national news, leaving certain information out. And truth be told, I find when I have gone through and validated some, gone through and double checked the information, as long as it ain't like something to do with Russia or Russia's allies, they're fairly, kind of somewhat decent. Better than some of our domestic news sources, to say the least. The first one is, apparently they have just released all of the declassified and released all documents on UFOs in the United States, supposedly. I just saw that in passing as I was leaving work, so I don't have all the details. Link will be below. In case anyone asks, we live in a universe with a crap ton of galaxies with 2 crap tons of planets. Is there a good likelihood there's life on at least one other planet? Yes. Is it possible they have visited us at some point in time? Quite possibly. I mean, you're looking at so many opportunities where it is very much a real possibility that there are some planets capable of that intergalactic travel, so to where they have been here. Are they still coming? I don't know. I mean, let's face it. They may look at the Earth as their equivalent to like Florida man or Polish man, kind of like crazy whatever, kind of want weary coming around us. Or they may view the Earth as like, that part of town where you're like, yeah, we're not stopping. Roll your space windows up, lock your spacecraft doors, look straight ahead and be prepared to duck and hide. It may be one of those situations. I don't know. But I would be interested in seeing what some people say when they have a chance to look at it all. The other thing is, apparently Meghan McCain has come out and said that the people involved in Washington, D.C. should be treated as domestic terrorists and locked up. And I think she mentioned sending them to Gitmo or Guantanamo Bay, one of those, and tortured and everything else. First off, I don't remember hearing her say anything about that in regards to the Black Lives Matter protests, when they were doing a whole lot more damage and a whole lot more injuries and death and everything else. I don't remember anyone saying anything like that. Matter of fact, I don't remember Congress being anywhere that upset. Maybe it's the fact that what is it, Obama's former reverend said, their chickens have come home to roost. Something like that. Unless that's all it was, that Congress, their proverbial chickens have come home to roost and it finally affected them directly. That's the only reason why they care. As a matter of fact, you remember about a year ago I covered representative in like New York who said, if it wasn't for the fact that this was an election year, I wouldn't care. But yeah, she's coming out and saying that. And you would think it would be funny given the fact her father went through what he did. But if I remember correctly, he is kind of fond of torture too. Yes, it's okay for thee, just not for me. But here we are trying to set an example into the world, and we have people going around advocating going out and torturing our own citizens because of stupid crap. And it is, and I didn't hear the exact clip, but so I don't know if she meant everyone involved or just the people who stormed the Capitol building. Was it the people who stormed the Capitol building and were beating down doors? Are you talking about the ones who killed? Because as I've discussed before with the Nashville bomber, you have to have actions showing intent to cause bodily harm or death, and that may be met with the police officer. I don't know. There's been a lot of conflicting information out on that, so I don't know if that was the same group that went in the building, because from the way it looked, that was on the outside, so that may have been two different factions of the same group, and I don't know, would it legally be possible to combine them? Now, is it possible that some people, I heard something about zip ties and stuff, is it possible that they could make the leap of wanting to kidnap them? Yes. Is it possible they could get him for... Well, they could get him for a whole lot of things. I don't necessarily know if all of them would be able to qualify as terrorism. It might... with the Nashville bomber, I could more easily say, no, it's not based on the information provided. And with this, I'm glad I don't have to make the decision. That's in all honesty, because I don't believe, it's just not clear cut to me, and mainly because I'm sure there's a lot of information I have not seen or just not been released or whatever. But my ultimate thoughts for this: if we're supposed to be trying to improve our image in the world, I don't think locking people up in a military prison that used to try and hide the fact that we tortured people, and still do, we're just still denying it, that I don't think that's the proper route to go. And if they want to charge the people who stormed in the Capitol, fine. If they want to charge the people who assaulted the police officers and killed the police officer, fine. If they want to charge the people who were busting doors and everything, windows and everything else, fine. If you want to charge the people who were just there protesting, rallying, however you want to put it, that were not involved in violent acts, trespassing, or destruction of property, vandalism, anything of that nature, no. Very much in my not quite so humble, no, I'm not even going to add that partition. That's First Amendment for you. They had the right to be there and peacefully assemble. Now, and I do not consider the murders, the assault people, the vandals, and all that crap. I don't consider them part. Those are, in my mind, separate events. Or, I'm not lumping them in the same category. They're part of the same major overall event, but they're separate groups, and I cannot justify saying they were all violent terrorists because of a handful who sorry, traffic. I just can't justify that, and I don't think anyone else could either. Lastly, I'd have one more thing to say for Meghan McCain. I know you think you're something special. Because you got a degree that mommy and daddy gave to a college that mommy and daddy gave a lot of money to. And you think you're something special because you're on TV. But let me tell you something. This is one of the few times you'll ever hear me say anything like this. Please shut up. The only reason, and I mean the only reason, anyone gives a rat's furry patootie about you and what you have to say is because mommy is rich and daddy was a senator. If it wasn't for that, no one would know who you are, no one would care. Your outreach would be smaller than mine. And that's just a fact. Anyway, I will have some links down below. Let me know what you think. Am I being a little too harsh on Meghan McCain? Or is it one of those situations where she hasn't really said or done anything as relevant as she thinks she is? Later.